South American liberator and statesman Simon Bolivar called him the real discoverer of South America, since his work was more useful for our people than the work of all conquerors. Thomas Jefferson, the third U.S. president, considered him the most important scientist he ever met. The only man said to be more famous during his lifetime was Napoleon. He created some of the most important and influential American maps of the 19th century, yet more famous cartographers used and possibly plagiarized his work. He has more species and places named after him than any other person who has ever lived. The U.S. state of Nevada was almost named after him, but you can still see his name across the state. But it's okay if you've never heard of him. Most haven't. His name is Alexander von Humboldt, and this short video will cover just a fraction of his contributions to science and our understanding of the natural world, as well as explain why most of us have never heard of him. Born in 1769 in Berlin, Prussia, Alexander von Humboldt came from a prominent but untitled noble family. His father, Alexander George von Humboldt, a Prussian army major and royal chaplain, passed away in 1779, leaving Alexander and his older brother Wilhelm to be raised by their ambitious yet emotionally distant mother. She employed Enlightenment-influenced tutors, who fostered Humboldt's early passion for science. Initially marked for a civil service career, he studied finance before meeting influential figures like George Foster, a naturalist from Captain Cook's voyages, and then began studying natural sciences under experts in a variety of fields. In 1790, he took an early scientific journey along the Rhine River, conducting field observations. His scientific network expanded, and he developed a lasting friendship with Sir Joseph Banks, president of the Royal Society, who later supported his research and expeditions. Humboldt started off his professional career in 1792 as a mine inspector. He quickly found success and gained experience in geology, botany, and chemistry. Now equipped with the skills, connections, and finances, Humboldt sought to join French-led expeditions, but European wars and delays disrupted his plans. Instead, he traveled to Spain, where he secured royal authorization from King Charles IV to explore the Spanish colonies in the Americas. Though the Spanish crown provided logistical support, Humboldt personally funded the expedition using his inheritance and savings from his mining career. Between 1799 and 1804, Humboldt embarked on a comprehensive expedition through Central and South America. He meticulously documented the region's geography, flora, and fauna. He conducted detailed measurements of altitude, temperature, atmospheric pressure, and soil composition, compiling data on how plant species varied across different climates and elevations. His historic ascent of Mount Chimborazo in 1802, then believed to be the world's highest peak, made him the first to study plant life at such extreme altitudes. His research on its slopes revealed distinct life zones, demonstrating how altitude and temperature influence plant distribution, laying the foundation of modern ecology. During his explorations in Venezuela, Humboldt observed that extensive tree felling for plantations led to significant ecological degradation. He noted that the removal of forests caused the land to become barren, with torrential rains washing away the soil and decreasing water levels in the lakes. These insights led him to conclude that human-induced deforestation could alter local climates and disrupt entire ecosystems. In 1803, Alexander von Humboldt explored New Spain, now Mexico, gaining rare access to official data on its geography, economy, and natural resources. He compiled this information into his Political Essay on the Kingdom of New Spain, which included some of the most accurate maps of the region at the time. In 1804, Humboldt traveled to the U.S. to meet Thomas Jefferson, someone who shared Humboldt's interest for science, exploration, and Enlightenment ideals. He shared his findings, which included detailed maps and population statistics. President Jefferson, eager to expand U.S. territory, saw this data as valuable for understanding the lands west of the Louisiana Purchase. Though Humboldt was not directly involved in U.S. expansion, his research provided critical geographic knowledge that influenced American policymakers as they pursued westward growth. As mentioned before, some of this data Humboldt published, and he accused English cartographer Aaron Arrowsmith of plagiarizing it. Beyond territorial concerns, Humboldt's scientific worldview, linking ecosystems, climate, and human impact, helped spark conversations that would shape the young nation's views on conservation, and later, the national park system. Humboldt's work culminated in the concept of the unity of nature, emphasizing the interdependence of ecosystems. His observations laid the groundwork for understanding ecological relationships and climatic influence on biodiversity, profoundly transforming scientific perspectives. These findings, published in works like Essay on the Geography of Plants, directly influenced disciplines such as ecology, environmental science, and evolutionary biology, inspiring figures like Charles Darwin. Humboldt believed knowledge should be shared openly and easy to understand, not restricted to academic and scientific circles. He emphasized clarity in science, publishing in multiple languages and formats, from scientific volumes to travel narratives, to reach both scholars and the public. His publications also reflected his philosophy that nature must be experienced, not just studied in theory. He rejected dry technical writing, instead using vivid descriptions and detailed illustrations to bring his discoveries to life. Humboldt introduced the concept of isotherms, lines connecting points of equal temperature. He created a simple diagram in 1817, but never published a full world map using them. But decades later, others expanded on his idea, creating the first detailed isothermal world maps. This breakthrough helped compare climates across regions and understand how temperature influenced vegetation. In his later years, Humboldt authored Cosmos, a multi-volume work that aimed to unify various scientific disciplines by presenting a comprehensive description of the physical universe. This work significantly contributed to the popularization of science. The word itself has Greek origins, meaning order or universe, but Humboldt's influence gave it its modern scientific connotation and is credited with its usage today. At 60 years old, he traveled 10,000 miles across Russia in just 6 months, sponsored by Tsar Nicholas I to study mining, climate, and geography. His route took him through Moscow, the Urals, Siberia, and the Caspian Sea, where he examined platinum deposits and permafrost. You would think he'd be well known today after his accomplishments, and in some places he is, especially in parts of Latin America, Germany, and amongst scientists who recognize his influence, but he is certainly not a household name here in the United States. Humboldt was a pioneer in multiple scientific disciplines, but as fields like geography, biology, and geology became more specialized, his broad integrative approach was overshadowed by experts in narrower disciplines. During and after Humboldt's lifetime, scientists like Charles Darwin gained prominence. Though Darwin credited Humboldt as an influence, a combination of better timing with the rise of mass publishing, stronger institutional support, and a singular groundbreaking theory made Darwin and his work on evolution far more famous. While Humboldt's interdisciplinary contributions, though vast, were harder to package into a single defining idea, leaving him in a supporting role in public memory. And unlike Darwin in Britain or Lewis and Clark in the US, Alexander von Humboldt isn't tied to any one nation. He was born in Prussia, made his biggest discoveries in South America, worked in France, and researched in Russia. Since no single country claims him, he's often overlooked in history, despite his huge impact on science. Alexander von Humboldt revolutionized our understanding of the natural world, shaping the fields of biogeography, ecology, and environmental science. His pioneering research linked climate, geography, and species distribution, laying the foundation for modern conservation efforts, sustainable resource management, and climate science. Through his travels, he collected vast amounts of data, introduced the concept of climate zones, and warned about deforestation and human-caused environmental change, long before they were widely recognized. His work influenced Charles Darwin, inspired early national park advocates, and provided critical geographic knowledge that shaped Western expansion and scientific exploration. By making science accessible and interdisciplinary, Humboldt transformed the way we see nature, not as isolated parts, but as a connected living system. A vision that continues to drive conservation, environmental policy, and global scientific research today. Thank you RareMaps.com for sponsoring this video. This video would not have been possible without them. RareMaps.com is an online antique map shop with a collection of over 10,000 antique maps, offering an impressive variety to suit any interest. Their selection includes maps of states, countries, continents, historical regions, thematic maps of mythical places, and other maps significant to the history of cartography, ensuring you will find the perfect addition to your collection. I have purchased a handful of maps from them myself, even before they were a sponsor. Again, that's RareMaps.com. And that's all for this video. If you enjoyed it, please hit the like button and subscribe if you haven't already. Thank you all for watching.